G'day, welcome back to the channel. Guess what? Here it is. Here it is. This one says love. 30 cent cup, or 35 cents with the electricity. Cup of coffee. My first one in 3 days. My first one of these. I've been having coffee elsewhere, and we're going to talk about that. And my God, have I got some news, guys? Have I got some news? And I'm really emotional. Um, I can't begin to tell you what's happened in this last week. But this is going to be my sign off from YouTube video. I've put videos up. I think these videos are helpful to people, and I think if people take notice of what I've done and said on YouTube, they will be able to get by and get ahead. I've put everything up from health advice to financial advice to how to fix cars and solve problems on your computers, electrical gizmos. There's been a lot that I put up, and it's been my attempt to give back to YouTube. And I'm really emotional. I've got to tell you, I'm going to share this news. Um, I'm not going to have the time to do these videos, and I'm going to continue with the projects. I'm going to continue with Project Zoomy, and Project Laptop is going to get done, and you know, just the odds and ends with the 3D printer, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with that. And I just want to update you on projects and then update you on me. And this will be it for me. I won't have time, but there's something coming up that if I survive it, I won't have time because I'll be doing something else. And if I don't survive it, well, you know, I don't survive it, and I've done my bit. I've tried, and I can pass on knowing I gave it my all, and I'm very emotional. So just bear with me. Go have some coffee. Hey, you can always count on coffee, can't you? You can always count on coffee. Right, so let me just be a little bit emotional for a minute, and I'm going to tell you guys what's going on. I've always said, make good decisions, do good things, and keep swinging at your goals. Some of you know my story. 2 life-threatening events in my life, 2, and I'm facing another one. I've played it down a bit, but let's be honest, this isn't trivial. I'm going to put the camera down on my tummy for a second, and if you've had your dinner, I'm going to apologise for this, but you can see I've got this wonderful big protrusion, right? And most of you will think, well, that's just fat. Well, guess what, guys? It's not. This is my stomach. This is my intestine. This is an incisional hernia that's like everything hanging out of. And if I squash it down a bit and relax as much as I can without getting hurt, it hurts all the time. And yes, there is some fat there, but most of that is a problem. And that's the incisional scar from the cancer, right? So it goes there. And, you know, you girls that have got hysterectomy scars that are to, mate, I know, all right, I know. They're going to fix that. They're going to go in and put some mesh in my tummy and put all that back kind of where it belongs. It's dangerous. It's dangerous because they took some stuff out of me when they took out the cancer. And not everything is where it should be. And on top of that, there's kind of a do not disturb sign on it, and they're disturbing it. So they can't tell me, you know, like anyone else, this would be a routine operation. Me, it can kill me. So one or two things are going to happen with this. I'm going to bounce through it, or I'm not going to. And if I don't, this is it for me. This is it. Either way, I've lived a wonderful life. I really have, a blessed life. I found a woman I loved at the age of 16, and I married her at the age of 20. And she's still there, right? Despite everything, she is still there. And I will love her, even beyond the grave, I'll love her. If I survive this, I want to tell you guys about a company that interviewed me a couple of weeks ago. I initially did not talk about my illnesses in the interview, and I got to a second interview. And the team that interviewed me, there was a guy in there who, for whatever reason, just clicked with me. And literally said, we have to have this guy on our team. And they gave me a job. Before they made that decision, I told them about what I'd been through health-wise. Didn't matter. Told them about the operation into this month. Didn't matter. We'll work with you, whatever that needs to be. We'll make it happen. We'll work around it. We need you on our team. We don't care. We don't care about your past. We don't care about. We just want you on our team. It's like the weight of the world lifted. It's like everything I've been telling you guys. Don't lose focus on your goals. Keep your faith. Keep going. And someone somewhere will connect with you and give you a go. You're not asking for charity. You're not asking for sympathy. You just want someone to recognize what you can do and give you a hand up. And that's what's occurred. I'm emotional. I have a right to be. It means one of two things. I'm going to survive this op and be flat out working for this company. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to be flat out doing the job. I'm still doing my hobbies. That's quality of life stuff. I'm still going to fix up Zoomy and do that stuff. But she's going to have a place to live. That's ours. After a couple of years of this, we're going to have enough. Put away in the bank. We're not going into mortgage. We're not going into debt. We're going to chuck away as much money as we can over the next few years. We're just going to buy a little place. It's going to be hers. She's secure. That's what it's about, folks. That's love right there. You're seeing it raw, unedited on YouTube. This is my goodbye YouTube video. Look, guys, if you're seeing this and you've got issues or whatever, go back over what I've put up. There might be something there. I've talked about living with chemotherapy. I've talked about my health issues. I've talked about budgeting. I've talked about fixing your car, where to go, like start at the local wrecking yard and work your way forward from there. Someone will advise you. It won't always be the right advice. Look on YouTube. There's lots and lots and lots and lots of things on YouTube. Pick the ones that mean the most to you, that you can relate to. Find someone that's doing their best like me, and go back over their stuff and see what's there and see who they look at, and then go that way, because I've looked at a few people. And I'm going to give shout outs to some of them, and starting with the people. The first guy I ran across was a guy called Video Repair School. He's a bush fix kind of a guy. he's got really good diagnostic techniques. His fixes are bush fixes 90% of the time, but they work. You know, some of his bush fixes will hold up over, you know, above the life of the unit. So if you need a bush fix for something electronic, go look at this guy. Now, if you need a more tangible way of doing it, there's a guy called Northridge Fix, I think he's called. And I ran across him kind of late, and he's got a more structured approach and more of an engineering approach, and I quite like him. So Northridge Fix is another guy that I subscribe to. Should be in my subscription list. And I'll continue to look at those guys and what they're up to. Yeah, I look at Goon Squad. I think they're entertaining, but they don't really contribute other than their good entertainment value. Like, I think there's a little bit of a commercial focus about those two boys. They've become quite wealthy out of YouTube, and I think they're a bit up themselves, but they're entertaining, and yes, I will watch their videos. There's a guy I like called Dangar Marine. What he doesn't know about boats, you know, he learns from other people and he puts it on his channel. Well worth a look at Dangar Marine. As a result of him, I've been watching some Kiwis called Project Brewprig up in Bundaberg. Well worth a look. There's a guy down in, I think he's in Melbourne. He does engineering in a shed. I can't think of his name, but I'm subscribed. He's in my subscription list, so look for him. He does it right. Does it right the first time that he puts on YouTube. I mean, if he does it wrong, I think he says, "Oh crap!" With the other word, "Oh crap!" I screwed that up, and starts again. And he shows you what he screwed up, and he shows you how to go again. A-Bomb 79. There's a guy. He does a bit old school, like him. Bear Vids. That guy taught me a lot about MOSFETs and power electronics. By all means, if you're doing anything with amplifiers, check him out. What else? There's probably a few more. Oh, let's not forget Craig, the Doghouse. I like Craig. Up and down as they come, does his bit, puts it on YouTube. He just plods along and does his thing. Yep, like him. Good bloke. If he'd come here, I'd sit him down for a cup of tea and a chat, and we'd probably have some war stories, and we'd probably click like a couple of old blokes in a shed. And that's what we'd be. I want to get another shed. I had a good shed. I lost all that. I want to get a little place. So a bit of land about, a couple of acres about us, and just do our thing, not worry about the world too much. Somewhere I can ride Zoomy to and from work, and just be pottering around in my shed when I'm not at work, and be really happy that she wants to go out. We've got enough money in the bank. We can go out somewhere, have a feed, have a dance. My feet have shut down, okay? They've gotten worse. So the neuropathy, the peripheral neuropathy, I've gotten past all the emotion of this, but I wanted to say goodbye. My dream is being realised, and I will pop on an update after my surgery just to let you know that I've come through it. Or if you don't see an update, well, you'll know that I've gone the other way and I've gone out knowing I gave it my all. I didn't die trying, didn't leave anything on the field. I didn't die wondering what could have been. There's some books out there floating around. If you ever see my name come up in relation to a book, I'd appreciate you buying it. Night glow manufacturing will persist. I'm going to get my son to run that business. It's too good an idea for it to so nightglowmanufacturing.com will continue in some shape or form, whether it gets sold to somebody else or whether my son picks up and runs it, or whether I run it. I won't be running it for a couple of years until we get our house. And once we've got our house, then I'll look at where I am for retirement. Once I retire, I'll be running that business full time. So that's my little retirement plan business. That I'll just run that little business, which will probably grow into huge businesses because it's too good an idea. If you guys haven't checked out nightglobemanufacturing.com, do it. We're not selling anything on the internet at the moment, but if you want to get involved in what I'm doing there, I'd appreciate getting an email from you. Don't contact me if you're not dedicated. I haven't got the time to be screwing around with people who aren't serious, right? But if you want a little business and you're prepared, to give it your all, and I mean it's not like I'm going to hand you here you go, this is going to work. I'm not going to be like that. you got some work to do, fella. But if you're prepared to put the work in, there's a plan, and I'll happily share the plan and hopefully get you on your feet, and you can build a little online business in your area and service whatever district or circle of influence you have. And likewise, we could spring up all these little operations, little backyard operations. I don't give a bugger, provided you follow the rules. And if you follow the rules, I'll grant you a license to use the idea, and you can just go ahead and I don't even really care whether you pay me a cent per unit, or there'll be some administrative costs to it. So there'll be like maybe 5 cents a unit. Whatever it's going to be, it is, and I'll figure it out as I go. But I'll figure out how much it'll cost to because there'll be audits to make sure you're following the rules. I'm not just giving this idea away to people and say, yeah, and then go off and destroy the reputation of the business that I've built up. And I've been told all sorts of things to do with that business, which I've said, go away, you are not in my critical path. Just get out of my road. No, just go and buy your stuff from China. No, I'm not doing that. I'm recycling, right? Oh, but it'd be so much easier if you just license that to some guy in China who will knock out 20 million of them and give you $2 million. I said, yeah, it would be. I could do that, but I'm not gonna, because that's not what this business was formed to do. This business was formed to recycle product out of rubbish into usable product, which could then be recycled at the end of its life cycle and perpetuated, sustainable. It's an example of sustainable practice and engineering, and we use I want second-hand components. I don't want things that work 100%. I want to have to fix it up and get it going and then move it on, If they're electrical components, then I prefer that they work and we test them and say, yep, that works. No, it doesn't work. Well, what can we recycle out of that we can use? What else can we make? This is the sort of thing Nightglobe Manufacturing is all about. It's about upcycling, recycling, retasking, repurposing, whatever. We're all about keeping it out of landfill. All that plastic I've got a use for all that plastic floating around out there in the ocean. I've got a use for it, right? We could make little engines out of it all. We could scoop it all up, put it all through a bloody melting pot and melt it all down and put it all back through a little 3D printers and print out little engine covers and put boards on them, and off we go. We could make all sorts of things. We don't even need to make engines. We can make other things, But we could recycle all that plastic. We don't have to make new plastic. There's plenty of it floating around out there. We could just go get it. No one cares. In fact, they would love you to go out there and go get it and do this. And if I could interest a billionaire in that idea, and they'll do the go get it and make it into stuff that can be recycled bit, because it's free. All you got to do is build a boat, go out there and scoop it all up, and then bring it back to some land station and process it. It's like mining for gold, except it's big. At the moment, it's a big pile of rubbish until someone does that, and then it becomes worth something, and then they'll all want it, And so it'll be like one little minnow discovers it, and then you got the sharks in there taking great huge chunks of it, And that's what we want. We want to clean that crap up. And when that's gone, we'll start looking in our landfill sites for more, because we want to feed these beasts more plastic waste. And we won't care where we get it, so long as we get this waste and turn it into usable. We don't need to manufacture more of it, right? We don't need the byproducts of the petroleum industry to make it. Petrol's going. If you haven't worked it out, we're going to be phasing petrol out. It's going to happen. If you don't believe it, because you're like Mr. Goon Squad and building, 1,000 horsepower motors, which do absolutely nothing other than give someone a cheap thrill while they ride it down a road. If that's you, well, good luck to you. More power to you. The quicker you use up all the fuel and the bits and when you wreck that thing, it becomes scrap metal, and then it can really be put to some decent use. And hopefully you don't wreck yourself in the process of wrecking the thing. But, the Fast and the Furious mob, the subscribers and all that sort of thing, yeah, you're out there endangering public safety and blah, blah, blah. But, we had one here, freaking Muppet out here last night at 2 a.m, chucking donuts, with his high-powered vehicle, whatever the frick it was, chucking donuts all around the bloody neighbourhood, drifting all around the neighbourhood. And he was having a ball, but, he was waking up the whole neighbourhood. He didn't give a shit. He didn't give a shit if someone ran out in front of him. He just didn't care. All he wanted was the thrill of navigating his way around the bloody neighbourhood drifting. See, those blokes, they shouldn't have a vehicle. They should not have it. It's a different thing if you're doing it on a racetrack. If you're doing it in someone's neighbourhood, it's very like where anyone can run out in front of you. Like the Fast and the Furious. At least those blokes blocked the streets off. They had someone with their cars parked across the street blocking the street, saying closed for road work or whatever it was. But they lessened the risk as much as they could before they pissed off and did it all. We got blokes that do it in residential neighbourhoods like this. They don't give a shit about it. They just rock up. They're Muppets. They got, twin turbos and waistcoats and brimbo brakes, and carbon fibre this and bloody, blah, 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 that, and off they go. And if they wrap themselves around a tree, well, then everyone feels very sorry for that guy. I feel sorry for the tree. Righto, all right, let's move forwards. To uni when I was 50, right? I was 50 years old. I dropped out of uni at 17. It wasn't me, I put together quite a successful business as a university dropout, but more and more the contracts I was going, even despite I had all this experience, people would say, "Well, where's your quals?" Well, does it matter if I've got 20 years experience? No, that's not a qualification. Qualification is a bit of paper that someone says you can do what you do. I said, well, the fact that I can do what I do says I can do what I can do, and he said, no, it doesn't. You need a bit of paper. And I used to cop it all the time. So at 50, I got sick of the industry and I went back to uni. I lost everything. I worked my ass off, and these qualified, bits of paper people, none of them lost their stuff, right? I paid them a lot of money. None of those boys lost their stuff. They all, yeah, look at that bloke. Yeah, we got his house. He lost his house. What an idiot. It was my life. It went. It was like it all happens. If it ever happens, it's like it's all in remote control. You're sitting there watching the TV, and it's just all passing in front of you, and you're flicking buttons and trying to stop the sound, and it just, it's just ignoring you. It's just moving around you, and there's people moving furniture out of your office, and it's like, where are you going with that? We haven't paid for that. I said, well, yeah, we have. No, you haven't. There's a bit of paper. They shove a bit of paper in your nose, and off they go with their bit of furniture. It's like crap. We haven't paid for that because I thought we'd paid up everything, but obviously there were things we hadn't paid for. But computers were walking out the door. I said, well, where are you going with that computer? I said, well, that's on this lease and blah, blah, blah. I said, well, went on this and that. We paid that lease. Yeah, but other people, so we're foreclosing. We don't care that you're paying us. We're chopping. We're cutting bait while you still got some money. Here you go. There's a bit of paper. We are terminating your lease, and we are taking our shit. And they did. And I walked out the door. I couldn't stop it. Once it started, it was like a juggernaut. It just rolled on. And it got to the point where I had guys, I had no work to give them. I had to say to them, mate, there's just no work. I can't feed you. It came a point. This came a point where it just became stupid. And I said, where I am right now, I can sell my house and pay out what I owe people. And I know I owed tax some money, but I got ahead of that, and I sold my house, and I lost. I lost everything. I lost a lot. And tax came back to their credit and said, look, don't worry about us. You're doing the right thing. They came back, and I was worried about that because whatever else I am, I'm a patriot. If I owe taxes, I pay them. Well, I do. I pay my taxes. Because whatever else I am, that's my bit, and that's your bit. And if you owe taxes, then you freaking pay them. Make sure that you pay your bill, you pay your way first, and then you pay yourself. And if you're not doing enough in your business to do that, then you shouldn't have your business. You should be looking at other things. And I'm not saying that to be an asshole, right? I'm saying that as the truth. That's the way it is. That's the way capitalism works. You pay everything you owe, and at the end of it, whatever's left, right, and that includes yourself. You pay yourself a wage, and then whatever's left, you look at that and say, well, what can we do with whatever's left? And some of it you tuck away for a rainy day. Well, our stuff we had tucked away for a rainy day, that all went. So we got down to rainy day and paying me, and all I had left was paying the business. And then it went. And I'm like, okay, now I'm using up assets. And I'm like, nah. And everyone said, go bankrupt. Oh, no, everyone goes bankrupt. Everyone goes bankrupt. And I didn't. I did not go into bankruptcy. And I thought, that will mean something. It meant something to me. So I sold. I sold up my house. I sold up everything I could think of to sell. And it went well below what it was worth. But I got enough out of selling stuff off to pay what I owed to people. And then I cut bait and ran. I just said, right, well, that's it for me. I'm not going to be in a business anymore. I'm going to get a job. And I'm just going to work for a living. Because I obviously made some horrible decisions listening to people who I paid for advice. None of those bits of paper boys. Hey, look at that! He's coming through the door. Hey, beauty! Lindy, get on the fucking typewriter. We can put another bill in there. He's just walked through the door. You beauty, more money. Yeah, get on the computer. Put a bill in. I'll go pick up the phone and go, hey, Lindy, get on the computer. I'm calling now. Get the stopwatch out. Every second's costing him $100. And there was no, like those boys, they oh, bloody, here's your bill. There you go. And I had one guy, I told him, I'm not paying his bill. I didn't think he'd earned it. And he said, well, here's a summons. Here you go. I got him lined up. Here's your bill, and here's your summons, here's your notice, here's your foreclosure. They're just like bang, bang, bang. And you're all there going, oh, I had a shirt a minute ago, I just lost the crap. And I laugh about it now, but oh god, it was the worst. There's nothing worse and some bloke walks up and you give him your keys. Here's the keys to my home. Here you go. That's not your home. It's her home. Here you go, mate. Here's the keys. I'll get back, babe. Don't you worry. We'll get through it. I'm getting emotional again. 2010. We're 11 years later. And we're finally on a pathway that I can keep that promise. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Don't matter what it is. Don't ever give up. I want for my son the best. I really do. I want him to have it better than I had. And we tried. We gave him a car. We gave him a place to live. He made all the mistakes kids make. You know, he made all the mistakes we made. But at least we gave him a car and we gave him a start. Today he's got his own place. He's paying off. He's got a car that he's paying off. There's nothing I can do or say that's going to say to him, sell that thing that you're paying money into and get something out of the wrecker that you can do up and drive and get you to and from work. Have one good car and one just daily driver, you know, and that's all it needs to be. But you can't tell them. They both got good cars. They're both paying them off. They're paying off the house. They're paying off bits and bobs and whatever. But they're getting there. They're doing their thing. And good luck to them. They've got a quality of life that they can live with. He's doing what he loves. And well, he's not working at what he loves, but he's doing what he loves outside of work. And good on him. Good on him. If I could, I'd pay his house and stuff off. I'd just pay it off like that. And say, right, you're debt free now. I never want to see you go into a bank and get another loan, ever. Right, ever. You put money in the bank, and whatever's in the bank, that's what you can afford. If you can't afford it, you wait till you can. It's called delayed gratification. I can't tell you guys. I mean, I can. I've put it on YouTube. This is my thank you for coming video. If there's something you want me to look into, leave me a comment on this video and I'll try to respond if I've got time and point you in a direction, you know, to like someone else's video that I found helpful. Or, you know, I want you to take away YouTube as a positive experience. That's what I want. For me, the journey end has been filled with potholes, right? The journey has been filled with potholes. There's been roadblocks and detours and lots of negative criticism. A lot from my family, well-meaning people in my family saying, look, mate, don't worry about that business. Don't worry about whatever. Just go get a job. Along my lifetime journey, there's been a lot of it. And I've told them all to go, you know, go powder their noses. Nicely, because you love them and they mean well. But they're not contributing to your goals. And after a while, it all becomes white noise. Right? It doesn't have anything to do with you going forwards to where you need to be. And not where you want to be. Sometimes you get to where you need to be out of where you want to be. You know, sometimes you're just where you need to be. And you've got to recognise that. You've got to recognise it. Now, I'm going to go hard at this opportunity. I'm going to get myself well as can be expected, and moving. And I'm going to go as hard as I can go in the direction I'm going. And once we've got our little cottage somewhere on a couple of acres with a little shed, and she's secure, that's it. Goal reached. This opportunity, this job will get me towards my professional goals. I'll be able to tick off my RPQ and see chartered practicing CPN. That day, when I get those two, will be the academic and professional goals realised. Even if this opportunity with this company goes south on me, there will be some security in having those bits of paper. And I won't be as worried, but I would be worried about losing my job. And right at this moment, from what I can see, these guys need me. They do. And I don't know what I know until I know it. And I know lots of stuff. And I've recognised some things. And I'm biting my tongue because there's a process, and there's a big process where I'm going. But these people gave me a start, and I'm going through a few things with them, and we're finding our feet. But I think there's already been a couple of very positive outcomes. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. I want you guys to understand that if you don't give up, if you keep swinging at your goals, if you make good decisions, you know, even like honesty is always a good decision. Helping someone because you can is a good decision. You know, looking after your partner, making sure she's not stressed out because of something that you're doing. If you can take some stress off her, just say, look, even though you can't see it, yep, it's going to be okay. We'll muddle through. We'll get through it. You know, you can't even see how you're going to do it, but you know, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, we're together, and that's all that matters, and we'll get through it, and we'll move on. Have some faith, a little bit of, excuse me, hello, I think it's time I got a bit of help. Put your hand up. Somebody will respond. Someone in your network. He will respond. She will respond. He, she, they, multiple. I don't know, but at some point they go, oh, well, here you go, mate, here you go. Oh, here you go. We'll give you, here you go, a little bit of magic dust on you. There you go. Get on your way. Thanks for coming. And then they look at where you, oh, a bit of magic dust going on here. And you sort of, oh, we go, well, we're going. And you find your way, and you do. All right, so yeah, I'm being a bit silly here. I think it's important to laugh at yourself, right? If you can find a humorous slant to something, the old sprinkle a bit of magic dust, you know? The old, eee, look at this, folks, coffee, you know. You'd be amazed at a little smile, a little laugh will just get you through your thought, get you through the thing that's got you stressed. For me, it works, and you know, I'll go, oh, that guy, and that guy's me. Oh, look at him, oh, he fell over, look at that. Oh, look, he's getting up. You know, oh, what a guy, you know. And I see him again. And you know, it's like the guy busting his nuts on the rail from the skateboard. God, we laugh, don't we? You know. Well, that's me. I get me nuts busted so many times, you know. But you know, I laugh at myself, and sometimes I laugh inappropriate. I've got to be honest. I've laughed at funerals. I have. I'm the kind of guy that laughs at a funeral. That's a song, isn't it? I am. I remember good things about people that have passed, and I remember good times. And sometimes I laugh at a funny incident in my head, and you know, it'd be at the most inappropriate time, or I'll suddenly get something that was said to me 15 years ago, and I'll suddenly get it, you know, and I'll just laugh, and it'll be so inappropriate. But that's me, you know. I'm not the world's best politician. I really am not. I've always said to people in any fight, I'm always good for the first punch. Then I'm only good if someone trips over me. And it's true in a political fight, fist fight, verbal fight, you know. I can hold my own in an argument, probably. I'm pretty good at coming up with logical things. I'm pretty good at that. But yeah, anything else, not so much. All right, so what we're talking about now is I promised you guys I was going to bring you up to speed with projects. So let's start with the start, the obvious ones. Over here is the project, the 3D printer. Now I forget what I called this. This is a Prusa Tronxy. So this, I think I called this project Tronxy. At the moment this is in pieces, and I'm going to quickly take you through what I found. What I have in my hand is the hot end, the extruder. Here, I don't know if you can see it. This is the actual wire with the piece of. Hang on, let's see if I can get it out in the open. Piece of element on the end of it, and that fits into this. And what I found was, well, what the problem was the feed, the PLA that comes up over the back of the reel there that you can see. I think you can see, you can't see, because it's all long cattywampus. This stuff. It keeps snapping, and it keeps snapping off. And then I was seeing that bits of it were coming out of this extruder, like the nozzle comes down here, but I was seeing bits of it coming out sort of along this plate, and you can see where it's been leaking and burning on the extruder. There's a little grub screw there. Now that's a lock grub screw, which is supposed to lock that element into this tube. And there's a little hole there, and what that's supposed to be is a receptacle for the thermistor. And what was happening was it was actually in this side, with the little thermistor sort of somewhere hanging loose, right? And this grub screw has been put in with Loctite, and I don't know if it's a brass one or not, but it was put in there with Loctite. So when I went to free it up, it stripped out the Allen key. So the Allen key has stripped out the center of that, and that is now jammed in there very, very tightly. So that's a problem, but that's not the biggest problem. The problem with the leaking thing, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, is you might be able to, is there's a little bit of brass still left inside there. And what had happened is there's a little nozzle which reduces the heated PLA into a fine stream, and it's pressurized, right? So it's a little brass nozzle, and whoever screwed it in there and put this together, they put the bizzo in the wrong side, A. B, they put that in with Loctite, not required, and so that is seized up and wasn't even holding the thingo in. So I've gone to undo it, and of course I can't move it, but it wasn't even pressing against the element, thank God, because he's probably would have put it right through the element. And then C, he broke the brass nozzle, the feeder nozzle. It was broken off inside there. So he's over tightened it and snapped the brass. And of course it was only a little, pinhole snap, but under pressure and over time, the stuff has started coming out. I thought this was normal, that this stuff would leak out of here, and it was something that you just clean off, but no, it was snapped off. So when I went to service it to figure it all out, I found out that the, where's the motor? Hang on. It's here somewhere. There it is. Got it. This is the whole mechanism that accepts the, see, it goes down through here around that little feeder. That's the motor, the feeder motor. So it gets compressed between this compression guide and this cog on the end of the motor, this gear on the end of the motor, and it forces it down through and out through this hole, right? So you should be able to actually see right through that hole. And of course you couldn't. And the reason for that was that this top piece here is used as a hinge, right? And it was hard up against this, which meant that this hole here was a fraction of a millimetre. Now you can see through that hole. I can see that you can see through this hole, but you couldn't, because this top piece was over this way by a fraction of a millimetre, so it was going down cattywampus. It wasn't lined up. So I fixed that by putting a little washer in there, in the end between the motor and the lever. There's a little washer, so you can see there's a little gap now, and that perfectly aligns that hole with the feed hole down the bottom piece, right? So it's now perfectly aligned. So having fixed that problem, I then had to take this out in order to make that happen. And when I went to unscrew the piece, I was unscrewing it from the brass piece, and it came loose. It was not locked in, right? It was not locked in. This lock nut was actually way down on this end of, and I thought it locked into this end. And I thought this was part of this mechanism. So what I was looking at was this, right? That's how it fits. And this was all, I thought this was all part and parcel of this mechanism, because this lock nut was down here, right? So whoever put it together, good, well done, company's proud. Yep, she's together, she's going. And I was using this for 3 years. I've been using the Tronxy for around about 3 years, give or take. And that's how I got it. It was like that. And of course, the feeder thing, which if the wires come in this side, it was around this way. Right, so that's how I received it, and that's what I used to look at, you know. And you can't see all this because it's behind this fan. Right, so I stuck this fan in front of it, so you can't see any of it. So what you look at is that with a cover over the top of that. So that's what you can see when you're using the thing. Now I've gotten rid of the fan, and I've looked at it, and I've gone, that bit of filament is cattywampus inside there. And when I looked at it this way, I went, oh, gee, that's not very straight. And it wasn't. You know, I thought, well, I'm going to pull all that apart and figure it out. And when I put my spatter on the brass bit, I went, boop, and it just went plop. And I got the brass bit, and the rest of it was left in there. So then I chucked an easy out on the rest of it, and the easy out just ripped the shit out of the brass and pulled the brass and didn't pull out. It's left the brass in the tread, right? So it kind of pulled out the middle bit of it. Would you look at that? That sticker has just fallen off there onto there. The Tronxy sticker. Whoever's put this together has done company is really proud. But that is my Tronxy sticker, which I'm guessing should be on this somewhere. I'm going to chuck it on there. How's that? I'll chuck it on the end. I'll bet you it was on there somewhere. But that's Project Tronxy. So what we're waiting on is I have to figure out a way of getting that brass out of that tread. I'm going to ask for some help. It's a bit beyond my abilities. I had a crack with the easy out. The easy out got the greater bulk of that out of there. But there is still brass jammed up inside those treads, and that requires someone that kind of knows what they're doing, because you'll really quickly, like my plan B is to order a new one of these. I've already ordered new brass nozzles for this bit, so we're waiting on those before anything more happens with this project. But what that has done is it has fixed all of my feeder and all of my what do they call it? Because the thing's vibrating, right? The thing's vibrating and shuddering and jerking. So the accuracy of the nozzle is now, like the quality of the output is now better. There's no more rough finishes. I can get a really smooth finish. So I've solved, through the issues I was having, I've solved the filament breaking, being able to feed it and service the feed by removing that fan, and the quality of the output being a bit rough, a rough finished output, we can go much finer. We can use much finer nozzles and heads on it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with Life, the Universe, and everything. The other problem I've got with this is that grub screw is jammed in there. I've left it alone in the hopes that my friend will have a way of removing that grub screw and making that into something that will actually hold the element where it needs to be. So then this can be reused back up into the motor and life will be good. That's the theory. Anyway, that's that project. We talked about Project Zoomy. The biggest problem with Zoomy is his wiring. It needs to be, I'm going to do that. I will film it and I will put a Project Zoomy update up, but only when I've got time. Now, I won't have that for the next 3 to 4 months. So that project's, Zoomy works. He's getting me to and from this new job. He loves it, by the way. He loves that I've got it. Like, you can tell when a bike's happy. I don't know if you guys believe that bikes have personalities. Zoomy has a personality. He does. And he thinks he's a 1000cc Ducati. He's a red Italian love machine. And he's a 50cc, what is he? He's a, oh God, Piaggio. He's a 50cc Piaggio Typhoon scooter, 2002 model. And I love him. That bike owes me nothing, and he's like that faithful little dog, you know, the faithful dog that he just doesn't care. He just wants to come up, jump on your lap, give you a lick, and let you know, yep, I'm here, mate. I'm here for you. That's Zoomy. That's my little. He's mine, and I love him. All right, and I'll have him till the day I turn toes up, which might be in a few weeks' time. So Project Zoomy, the most important thing to do is to fix the wiring harnesses and to fix up the headlight. And they're the two things that I'm going to worry about. When I've eventually got a bit of time and money put together, let's say I've got some annual leave, I'm going to pull the whole bike apart and get all of his fairings, all of his bits and bobs. I'm going to make sure there's all fiberglass repaired up, everything's looking a bit smick, and I'm going to get him repainted. So that's a big job, and while that's all apart, I'm going to do all of the wiring loops. I've got the complete wiring diagram. I'm going to figure out the colours of wires I need and pick up rolls of them so that they're ready for use. And I'm going to make up the wiring looms and I'm going to change out all the plugs for new plugs. And we're going to fix all of his, he's got a leaking oil tank, which is a pinhole drip leak. We're going to fix that. We're going to spruce up the plasticky bits, you know, we'll get them looking like factory. And we're going to add some lights to him. We're going to add a light bar to the front so that there's plenty of light up front. We're going to convert what we can to LED. So the system is not wired for LED, but we've got some bibs and bobs of LED that we've done. So Project Zoomy, all of that's going to get shelved. I'm going to do the absolute necessary to get him running 100%. He runs good. He can run a bit better. We're going to make him run a bit better, and then we're going to leave him alone until such time as he'll go on annual leave. And then that series of videos I'll shoot and put up to YouTube. So that'll be a little YouTube video. Right. Project board holder, clampy, whizzy, you know, this is my little handy helper holder clampy device. That thing is finished. I'm not going to do any more work on that. You guys are welcome to pick that up and run with it and make it into whatever you like. I've done enough. You know, tag your it by all means and post back to my comments section on those videos, whatever you are doing, and links to whatever project you've done, and that would be great. I would love to see it. What else? There's a couple of other things. Project NGM is now shelved until such time as I retire. I expect to retire in about 5 to 6 years. So 5 or 6 years down the track, Project NGM will make a reappearance, Nightglow Manufacturing along with it. If somebody wants to get in touch with me about licensing the idea, I am happy to talk to you. But please don't waste my time. I am too busy. Right, I am super busy. Right, next. What else is lying around that I can think of? There's not a lot. Like there's not a lot here that I want to work on. You know, there's plenty of things. There's always plenty of bibs and bobs and things. But I do not want to be working on a lot of stuff at this point. I just want to do what I need to do to make sure that I'm doing the best I can for this company. And that's going to be my focus for at least the next 3 to 5 years, 6 years. Okay, so around all of that, projects will get updated. But that's where we are with current projects. I will put the upgrades to Tronxy because I want to put in a terminating point for the y-axis, because it's the one axis where the printer loses its way and smashes into the end and strips the drive belt. It actually turns the drive belt when it's at its zenith, and we need it to stop. We need it to stop the motor. Now the problem I've got with putting a thing off the home switch is that the computer in the control unit might think that it's at home and it won't stop the motor. It'll in fact set it there and then keep running the motor until it strips the entire belt. I want it to do the opposite. I want it to think it's reached the zenith rather than home. And there is no way for me to program that at this point that I can find. And if there's a way that I can set the Y zenith at X or Y or whatever it is, and that the controlling software in the board, in the firmware, then it should be there. I mean, there should be a pin that you can say this is Y terminal, X terminal, Y terminal, Z terminal. Because if there's a lot of torque in those things, and if it pushes past its limit, it's going to do serious damage, right? So that's a big weakness with this Tronxy design. It's a huge weakness and it needs to be improved. Right, I think I'm done. I think I'm done talking. I've given you project updates. I guess I can say to you that this little project here with the extraction fan, this is a success. We've got a little bit of air conditioning conduit which actually fits beautifully over this nozzle. This project has been released. You can make a further housing to clip over the front, so you can have two nozzles with this in the center. But the idea is that you have another housing with a little filter, and it filters the air before it releases it out into the wide world. And then all you're doing is changing the filter. So you can add a paper filter. You can get a little automotive one and make a little air box on the front of that, which is outward facing to the world, so that all of your dangerous fumes are filtered through a paper filter and then released out into the atmosphere. And I think that that's fair enough. And then, like you would on your car, every so often you change that filter. So you unclip your airbox and off you go. And I think that that's the end of that project. And I've actually got something in mind for that, and I'll probably build it with the 3D printer when it's going. I don't know if I'm going to film that. I don't know where I filmed up to on YouTube. I can't think of anything else to talk about. I think there was a list of things that we were working on. I made a priority list somewhere. I don't know where it is. I can tell you that I was printing out a little card box for playing cards. So I noticed that my son had playing cards in various states of decks all over his bar, you know, and they weren't in any kind of a container. He just picked them up off the bar and off we'd go and play. They weren't in any kind of a container, which prevented someone from knocking them flying and you playing 52 pickup. So I've designed a little card box to hold the cards, and I've personalised it by adding a 3D image. And I showed people, I think I've put it up, but I showed people how to get using freeware, okay, freeware, a 3D image out of a 2D photograph. So you start with a photograph, you scan it into your computer, you cut out the bit that interests you, you make it a specific size, and then you translate that to a 3D printer and it'll print you out a little bizzo. So I've actually got a photo of him and his missus. I did it with that to prove I could do it. And I can now put the photo of him and his missus on the boxes. And that'll be little personalised boxes that they can use for that. I can put the image on anything. If they ask me to do one on a vase or whatever, I can do it. And so can you. It's very easy to do. And I've put the method up on YouTube somewhere. So it's in one of my videos. I want to sign off. I want to say goodbye to YouTube for now. This is going to be my last post, other than a quick update on my health once I get through into October sometime. So if I do all right, it'll be 3 weeks into October before I'll be in any position to post a quick update on my health. If I don't, then please know that I love engineering. I love the potential for what it can deliver. I love IT design. I love people who are passionate about what they do. Surround yourself with those people. Get to know why they are passionate about it. Just take your time. Just don't rush. If I can give you one bit of advice, that's it. Just take your time. Don't rush. The answers will come. Ask for help. You know, you might feel like you're knocking your head against a wall. I can tell you there's plenty of walls around this place that got Neil imprints in the, Neil head imprints in them. I feel like it so frequently. Keep swinging at your goals. Do not give up. Postpone, but don't give up. Just do what you can do. If you do just a little bit every day, it all adds up. It all adds up. And someone somewhere will recognise what you're capable of and give you a go. And that's what matters. You keep your promises to people. You do what you can as you can when you can. And you don't worry about the rest. If you do, it drags you. It's like a huge anchor. You got to, you got to, oh, look at that. You dust yourself off, you pick yourself up, and on you go. Keep moving. And at some point, what's happened to me in the last week will happen to you. And I don't know what the point is, but if you don't give up, don't ever give up. There's got to come a point where it works. Just don't give up. Keep swinging at your goals. Make good decisions. Do good things. I want to thank everybody involved with this channel, with this process. I want to thank the people I've subscribed to. Go through my subscription list. There's people in there that can help you. And, some of those are pure entertainment, but there's some of those people who are in there. Like, they love it, but they're not in there for commercial purposes. They're in there because A, they love it, and B, they want to give back like I do. And I do hope that good things come to you and make good things happen. Keep swinging at your goals, make good decisions and do good things. I'll talk to you guys in a couple of months, and then in a couple of years we'll see where we're at. All right, cheers, and goodbye YouTube.